So anyway, hello to Facebook, hello to YouTube, hello to the podcast. And thank you guys for tuning in, and especially thank you, Donovan, for being my co-host and helping me do this and all this other great stuff that we got going on here. As you guys can see on Facebook, we have a blue screen behind us instead of the green. We are indoors because it is hot as Hades outside. It's what, 100 degrees almost? About 100 and something. So yeah, that's, we're getting summer.
The cats kicked us out of the studio.
Yeah, and his cats was like, get out. We commandeered the studio. So anyway, the purpose of this show is to discuss the things that go on in our community, the black community, regarding love, understanding, and knowledge, to make us a better people. And with that being said, I want to go on. Hey, Capri, how are you? I want to go on to our topic. And I just said today we're discussing Kanye, to leave it open, because I think in all fairness, Kanye, in and of himself, is very complex. He's a very complex dude, but specifically, we want to talk about his statement that he made, I think it was Tuesday. It must have been Tuesday, because when we were doing our show, we didn't hear anything about it.
Okay.
And so we want to discuss what Kanye say in regards to slavery. So I'll give you guys just a second or two to get on before I go forward. I have a little bit of notes. I didn't do a lot of research because specifically I want to know what you guys think about Kanye. Do you agree, disagree, why, or why not? And so I'll go ahead and give, just render my notes what I have really quick. All right, so we're used to Kanye saying and doing a plethora of things, some good and some bad. Many have called him a genius. That's debatable. Donovan laughed. That's debatable. Now, Kanye is arguably one of the most profound rappers of all time. And you laughing. And he is the creator and the owner of the Yeezy sneakers that's by Adidas. He also has the Yeezy clothing line. All right, now let's pause for a little break here. I just want to give you guys a small history of Adidas. Now, who owns Adidas? Adidas was founded by Adolf Dacier, I think that's how you say his last name, a German who started the shoe company in 1924. He and his brother / business partner, Rudolf, Rudolf is the founder of Puma, were Nazis. Now, the company is now an IPO. It's an initial public offering, which means a lot of people own it. So the people have stock, the public owns it, different banks, just everybody owns it now. It's not under the ownership of the Nazis anymore. And so I just thought that
it probably is, but we just don't know about it.
Right. I just found that interesting in that Kanye is telling us, that we are still mentally enslaved. And I'm not going to argue that, because I agree we are mentally enslaved. But it's like, when you're helping the enemy or the oppressor get rich. But anyway, I digress, y'all. Hey, Sydney, I digress. Okay, so... but just a few days ago, before he joined the Trump train, publicly anyway, and as Cindy says, correction, the Yeezus started with Nike, but he's with Adidas now. Okay, and so only reason why I know y'all, and I got 2 pair, okay? I got 2 pair of them, and they were gifted. I did not buy these shoes, they were given to me. I just want to say that. Okay, back to what I was saying. So, Kanye let everybody know that he is on the Trump bandwagon train, whatever you want to call it. He put out, came out with a picture of him wearing a hat, and he showed us his autographed hat from Trump. Okay, now, Kanye came under fire for a controversial statement that has people discussing it continuously. I think he made the statement on Tuesday, and ever since there, everybody you can think of from all walks of life have been discussing the comment that I'm going to read to you right now. And so, while doing an interview at TMZ, he said, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. He also said, you were there for 400 years, and it's all of y'all. It's like we're making it. Okay, so later on, he went on to clarify his statement, because from that point he started to get it, right? And so he says, to make myself clear, of course, I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to have faith in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. And We need. Even the statement was an example of thought. It was just an idea. Once again, I'm being attacked for presenting new ideas. Okay. And so after Kanye made his statement about slavery, while still at TMZ, Van Lathan, an employee, said the following to him. He said, while you're making music and being an artist and living the life that you earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. Lathan also said, we have to deal with the marginalization that's come with 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. And then lastly, he said, frankly, I am disappointed, I am appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something to me that is not real. And I'm almost done with my notes. And so, while there are some who agree with him, there's a whole host of people who do not. In fact, some radio stations have even stopped playing his music for the statement in regards to slavery. Okay, slavery being a choice. Now, in addition, he has taken a beating in the media and on social media by a whole host of people. If you guys have seen, Snoop Dogg has, taken him to task. Eve, a whole
Eve,
lot.
a woman married to a billionaire.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna catch that. Yes, Eve, Eve that's married to a white guy, which I also kind of like. Well, but whatever. She took him to task.
Okay.
You name it. A lot of people have unfollowed him. I mean, it hasn't been good for him. And so, as I said, he's been taken to task. All right. Now, before we start the discussion, let's define slavery. Okay, I just want to do that just for a little bit of house cleaning. Okay, American slavery is or was forced servitude of African people. It was the legal institution of human chattel enslavement. So this was a legal thing to dehumanize a human being to make money. So we had slaves picking cotton, tobacco, just a whole host of other things that slaves were used for. And this was a legal thing. Now, when you think about something being forced, what does that say to you? If I'm forced to do something, I don't have a choice in the matter, do I? I don't get to say, well, you know what? While I understand you forcing me, I'm going to opt out of that. I don't want to do that. And so I don't see any more of you guys' comments. I really want you guys' comments in, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with Kanye? Why or why not? Because we want to break this thing down. And I want to say this too. I see a lot of people saying, oh, we need to move on or this, that, and that. I'll tell you what, on your page, y'all can move on and do what you want to do on your page. But on this page, we're going to discuss it. And if you don't want to be a part of that discussion, I respect that. But, please don't come on here and tell everybody else what they should and should not be doing. One thing I would say about this Kanye 400 years slavery being a choice is that while some people don't want to dialogue about it, I think it's good that we are dialoguing because a lot of people who were ignorant, I'm not saying ignorant to be mean or condescending, but who were ignorant to the institution of slavery, they are now perhaps getting an education about slavery. And so when you hear somebody say, well, slavery, it sounds like a choice. It's like, to me, that is so ignorant. And Kanye uses the premise of, oh, well, I'm a free thinker. Well, I think we're getting confused that just because you're a free thinker don't mean you have to free yourself of knowledge. When you think freely, you still have to have some knowledge to back it. And I'm going to show you guys Donovan so you guys can see who he is.
Yeah. Would Kanye have that same saying if he was enslaved right now? They would have beat that shit out of him.
Well, he said basically if he was a slave. And we say that people in 2018, if I was a slave, I would have, they'd have to kill me.
Well, go to the lynching museum and see why some of those people were lynched.
Yes.
For the littlest offenses.
It's easy to say that from the confines of your home.
You got laws that are outright protect you.
I'm trying to say that. Yeah, when you got laws and you are not in that situation, it's easy to say, well, if I was a slave, I would beat you, I'd kill. That's what.
Sure you would.
Stop the madness. And Donna no way anyone would make the choice to be a slave, right? And so you have all these people who are trying to back him up in his madness. And I'm going to call it madness because, it's like, who would choose to be raped? And we're not even just talking about women. We're talking about the men, the kids, to be brutalized and, have your family sold
your
off.
Identity taken from
everything. Who would choose that? It's just like this silly.
Well, it's just like when we raise our kids. What do our kids know? Junk in, junk out. It's what we teach them.
Exactly. Exactly. And Sydney says, after watching both interviews, and we are forgetting that he was talking about Daz threatening him. Yeah, and Daz Dillinger from Dog Pound.
Dog Pound.
He says, from what I understand, I don't know how serious it was, but he put a hit out on Kanye for the Crips to get him.
So silly.
He wants the Crips to get him. Like I said, I don't know how serious that was, but to me, it's like, okay, Daz, you putting hits out on people. What about all these other people who doing black people dirty? Like I saw somebody ask, well, we still got. Let me shut up because I don't want anybody to report.
Good point.
Let me shut up. I was gonna think, we still got, George Zimmerman walking around.
Right.
But anyway, hey.
Wait. But what about Hillary and her crime? No. I'm trying to deflect like you could hear in the conversation.
Okay, so hey, Joe. You say it's a choice because we choose fear. Let's dive in. Let's learn from our Middle Eastern brothers. Well, again.
You can't be what you're not.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, when we say fear, because I get what you're saying. Liberty, death. I understand all of that. But we got to realize, too, that there are over, that we know of 250 revolts, 250 slave revolts that we know of. Now, we didn't talk about the runaway slaves here and there. Some of them were successful, some of them weren't. We're talking about over 250 known slave revolts that were dealt with that took place.
What is, real quick, what was the most successful slave rebellion?
From what I understand, it was the Haitian one. It was the Haitian one. But a lot of people don't understand that slavery, which was legal, was backed by the military. Like when Mass Turner revolted, they didn't know who the heck he was working with. They thought that the British was coming to help them, and so the military, U.S. military, got involved and helped squash that. So we're not talking about.
And guess who was the commander that helped squash that?
Who?
General.
Okay, so there you have it, the Confederate leader and all of that.
He was a colonel at the time.
Right. So we're not talking about slave masters versus slaves. We're talking about the slave masters and the whole might of the United States military and slaves that were outnumbered and outweaponed. So I mean, it's like when we make these statements, are we truly thinking about it in a historical context and actually doing the numbers? Are we doing that?
Oh, correction, that was John Brown.
John Brown. Okay. You're talking about the abolitionist?
Yeah, John Brown, the abolitionist.
Oh yeah, he was okay. And so, let's see. And Charles, you said exactly madness. And then Martin said most of the people saying what they would have done during slavery is saying that from the comfort of their armchair revolutionaries of many years of blacks dying for you to be able to say that. Amen.
And you got to think of the knowledge that you've gotten from the mistakes that they made, that ones that tried to do it. So, it's easy to say that now you have the knowledge.
I love that term, armchair revolutionary, because that's exactly what it is. I would make nobody do that.
The tactician, we go this side. We could come from the left,
Right.
stack our guns where they couldn't find it. Right.
You know.
You're in a, just like I teach in higher learning, we're behind in your lines, dog. So where are you going to go? You can't walk around without papers.
Right.
You can't, it's easy to say that when,
Right, 2018, and then Donnie said he should have used his own platform to elaborate more long ago his words of chopped for controversy. Well, and that's just the thing too. I think Kanye has been given the genius pass, and I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with he's genius. I think he's a smart dude.
No, he's not. When you mess with them Kardashians, you are doomed to either go crazy, have a heart attack, or something. Leave them bitches alone. He had a few album. I have that album. But the point is, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, well, and that's what's important. People will, but so I think people have given him that title of being a genius, and so they also think, well, he's a genius, so everything he says is gotta be right. You know what I mean? Well, why question it? It's like, come on, people. Is that a real popular term? Not a thought into this.
Right.
Just a little bit. Who in the utterly, I'm not cussing no more, y'all. Who would choose that?
Sure.
I mean, even just knowing what we know about slavery, we weren't there, but just knowing what we know, who would choose that? Who living that everyday horror would choose that? And so, let's see. Cindy says he should be thinking, and he is far from a free thinker. He is repeating everything the Confederates thought. Funny how he, how the role Kanye lost his mind. I think lost his mind.
Yeah, over his mom.
I can't over here thinking about the opioid. The opioid crisis. Yeah, and I understand. He made a point saying that he was addicted to opioids.
So that's my point there. How could you be so smart if you're addicted to opioids? Now, I understand that, okay, the doctor can prescribe it and stuff, but if you're abusing what the doctor prescribes, you shouldn't be able to get hooked on it. So, and you should know better. If you feel a certain way.
I agree, but, so at one point, are we going to call this dude a genius? But on one hand, he's saying that he got addicted to opioids, and then he said he got addicted to opioids because he wouldn't have liposuction because he didn't want us to talk
his
about
his pot belly.
Okay, which part of this is your fault?
See what I'm saying? Going with the Kardashians? He can't even accept himself.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be that smart. You can't be.
You must be a reader to be a free thinker. Absolutely, you gotta have some knowledge behind the free thought process. That's what a lot of people are thinking. Oh, free thought means you just say anything that freely comes to your mind.
No, that's a damn fool.
Can you imagine if we said everything that freely came to our mind?
That's a damn fool.
No, I think that was crazy.
That's like you're at a funeral and grandmama was a hoe and everybody's telling her, everybody's praising her what a good Christian woman. She got like 4 different baby daddies, and you're saying, oh, she was such a good woman. If you really told the truth, it would hurt a lot of people.
Like grandma was a hoe.
Right? Yeah.
That was clear. And Joseph, but we are also the only people who beg the white man for our rights and integrate into his establishment while everybody stands up to fight to the death. I don't know what I would have done, honestly, historically, no one has been as lame, as passive as we have. Where does it end? Well, I agree. Listen, I'm not saying that we haven't been passive and that we are not suffering from mental slavery. But again, we got to do the work. And I impressed upon people last week. I put up a video by Dr. Joy DeGruy, and she has done the work, you guys. She has done the work by putting out a masterpiece, and I call it a masterpiece called Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder or Syndrome, however you want. It's worded 2 different ways. But anyway, in this work, she talks about the effects of slavery and talk about all the things that were done to black people under the institution of slavery, and she concludes, no wonder why we as black people are mentally impaired and somewhat physically where we are. It wasn't just like they said, all right, you guys are emancipated now, and now go be and free about the country. We know that there was Jim Crow. We know there was KKK. We know that there's institutional racism. And it's still to this day, we still have black men in 2018 being lynched. I'm not talking about 1918. I'm talking about 2018. And these people, most of the time, like Sean King did a thing where last year sometime in South Carolina, where the white supremacists were marching and they beat up the black guys. Sean King, the journalist, had to get his people together to find these people because the powers that be, the authorities, were not going to hold these white supremacists accountable for beating the crap out of his man until he almost died. Somebody else had to do that to go get justice for this man. I'm talking about 2017. so when we say we as black people are passive, yes, but why are we that way? That's what we got to get to the bottom of. Until we understand why we are passive as a people, we're never going to get past it.
There was this study done. They're saying, same thing that you're saying about why we're passive. Mm-hmm. They're saying because we've been infiltrated in our gene pool with the white guy.
Yeah,
because, you know...
I don't know how true it is, but it's possible.
You know, it's almost like, you know, they put this, like, chip, like in the Clone Wars, or we talk about Star Wars, where they put that chip and they can deactivate the robot. But they said it's kind of like that, you know, because our gene pool has been infiltrated.
Right.
To where we have these mixed nuts.
Yeah.
You know, and,
well,
you know,
I mean, I don't know.
You know, something that goes against our generic nature.
I don't rule anything out, although I haven't heard of that. And the city says, and his mother was an English professor and the chairwoman of the English department. He don't read, so yes. And the city is not saying he don't read to be disrespectful. Kanye has said that he doesn't read.
Oh, like Trump.
Yeah, he just said he doesn't read. So, I mean, that's something he said.
So if you don't read, then how do you decipher different opinions? But then you're not susceptible to understanding others. But just because you're a genius, you're a genius of ignorance. Yeah, because if you don't read, you can't compare this versus that and what's better versus this versus that.
Like my dad said, take you where your knowledge is going to take you, and a lot of times that's nowhere. And then Charles says, I'm just baffled that this is the man that made the college dropout about the last great rap CD. No, and I agree with you. I mean, obviously something has happened.
Kardashian.
Something has happened to Kanye. What it is, we don't know exactly. Hey, Robert, he says, I think he meant choosing by not dying over being held captive as slaves. And again,
Woosah.
Hi, Robert. That is a fallacy to think that nobody died over trying to be free. Mm-hmm. A lot of slaves lost their very lives by dying to be free. We know that just with Nat Turner alone. Mm-hmm. That man wasn't, see, a lot of times people say, well, when Nat Turner was hung, that man was hung, skinned, turned into grease to grease these people's wheels. Mm-hmm. They sold purses and made, items out of his skin.
Now just think if you heard that, how terrified you would be.
Exactly, and that's why they did that, to enforce the horror in the rest of these slaves into making you think, if you think you're going to do this, this is what's going to happen to you. So when we say that people didn't die to be free, I hate to do this, y'all, but that's a lie. Mm-hmm. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Most of y'all, I didn't see the movie Amistad, but I read about it. What were they doing?
Well, let's go by the numbers. Mm-hmm. They say that the slave trade, over 120 million black people came to the Americas.
Yeah, the Middle Passage.
Okay, the Middle Passage.
Right.
Now, in North America alone, out of the 120 million, they say about 60 million made it to America.
Where'd the rest of them go?
Well, South America, wherever they go. But let's just talk about North America. Mm-hmm. At the end of the Civil War, there wasn't even 4 million black people in the country.
Right. And to your point about the Middle Passage, right, since we talking about slaves didn't die or resist, how many, do you guys know that the Middle Passage is littered with the bodies of black Africans? Do y'all know that? Mm-hmm. So to say that black people or slaves didn't fight for freedom, that's a lie. We need to stop spreading that lie. They did die.
Yeah, and you're also going to notice if we travel, and I said this earlier this week, where 80% of Americans do not travel. That's why we have such ignorance in this country. Mm-hmm. You will find a black person in every country, in every nation of African descent.
Right. We were dropped off everywhere.
Everywhere.
And Amanda.
Oh, my Afro Thunder.
Yes. She said, I'm going to send you an SNL clip that where the message was crazy. And I think you're talking about the one, I think I saw it was called the Kanye Place or something like that. I think I saw that. And Donna, you say there has never been another race of people who have endured the level of trauma that the black community has for as long as we have.
Yes.
It's fair to say that we were taught as some dysfunctional tools. Let's see. Dysfunctional tools in order to survive a dysfunctional time, and it is at this point that we now need to understand or dysfunction and do some psychological deprogramming in order to thrive and not just exist. Absolutely. And I love that point you made, because we keep saying, oh, well, they didn't do this and we didn't do that. To your very beautiful point, we have to understand exactly what you just said. We got to understand, as Dr. Joyce DeGruy said, we are sick. Not sick like perverted sick, but we are sick people and we need healing. And in order to heal, we got to understand how we got that way. It wasn't just because, well, and like I said to this on somebody else's post, y'all acting like slave masters were just hiding in bushes, snatching up Africans, and we didn't resist. No, it was a calculated effort. Wars were fought to get slavery the way it is, or it was back then.
Look at Roots, the beginning of Roots, when they talked with the kids. How many hours was it depicted that he fought to break out of the shit? And I got to say, what you just said, it's true. We are still suffering from psychological problem, because when you go to the library where they keep the lies, in our school system, they're giving us psychological warfare every day. If you read the history book, as long as you think you haven't done anything, you won't do anything.
And this is another point I'd like to make, and I'm going to read Lamon's comment, is that we think, well, we don't think we have to work for the knowledge. We do got to work for the knowledge.
Remember that guy in RCC, he taught Black history, he said, you better do your reading.
Yeah, I mean,
He was, oh, man.
we think that it should just be given to us. No, we gotta do it.
That was one of the hardest classes at RCC. And I took the class on Black.
We all know. We all
Yeah,
take it.
easy A.
I'm taking the African American.
That was one of the hardest class to take.
And then Cindy said, with all those books, and we still saying hell,
Google it.
Google some stuff.
They're giving us all the tools.
Right, and the city says, please visit the Slave Museum in D.C. You know what? I plan to. And Amanda says, no, it's called Lando's Retreat, I think.
Oh, yeah, that just came out last Saturday.
Where he had a summit for black folks and a march planned, and no one showed up. Oh, wow.
Right.
And hey, Ed, he said all black folks have PTSD. Yes.
Yeah, post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Even though we weren't there, it's been, I mean, hell, y'all, we can turn on the news or scroll up and down Facebook and see black people being brutalized by the police that used to be rooted in as the slave patrol. And so sometimes when I see that, like I saw the homeless woman in San Francisco, again, from what I understand, she didn't do the police told her, you know, two police officers traumatized this woman, and he had her feet hit down, but she couldn't move, she was wailing and screaming in pain, and this went on for 5 minutes. And I said, that, you know, from the stories that I've heard of slavery, that sounds like what they used to do to slaves. I don't care that you're in pain, I don't care that it hurts, I don't care that you're exposed. We're just going to do this to you.
Well, the police department is nothing more than an extension of the slave patrol.
Absolutely.
So they're using the same stuff that worked, and you're not going to change your tactics if they work.
Right. I'm sure you didn't have a choice. So you get off these
No, I have a badge. You're gonna. We don't care nothing about your rights unless you're white. I have a badge. Comply.
We don't care if you're human.
Right.
We don't think you do.
Yes. You're a black bitch. Get on the ground and do what I tell you.
Joe says, getting your life taken are two different things.
Absolutely.
Both are still choosing fear. Well, again, like I said, like most of us don't see because we're fear eating tickets. So we ain't talking about, okay, slave, if you run away, we gonna give you a ticket. We're talking about, I'm gonna kill your mama, I'm gonna rape your child, I'm chopping something off of yours. We ain't
I'm breaking up your families.
Yes. We gotta compartmentalize the fear. We're like, what fear are we talking about? You know, because like as a child, you're disobedient, you might get a whooping or you might get restricted. So, what kind of fear are we talking about?
Right. And then what fears somebody else is different than somebody else.
Exactly.
So usually when you're dealing with a slave, if you got a big buck that's very strong, you're gonna apply rules certain different to him versus the house.
The rest of these
Right.
slaves, even if you're the one that's not feared, I can have the rest of these rising up on me. I'm gonna do the worst thing possible to this person, this slave that ran away, so I can send the message of fear to everybody else.
A good example, and those of us have military background experience. What's the first thing they do? They make anybody that tries to buck the system. They make an example of that person.
Yeah. And then Ed, you said we have to pick up books, listen to scholars, watch these Facebook Live posts, etc. I mean, it's true. Like we get limited in our thinking sometimes. Well, okay, I know everything. I just know that Kanye was right, and he said slavery is a choice.
And I'm going to the movies right now, so I'm going to go see Avengers, Ultron, the escapism.
Right. And I'm going to do it in my evening. And then because remember, we were moved thousands of miles in Africa. We could not communicate with each other. We were beat, we were raped, we were exposed to a lot of brutality on and out of the land. Well, that, to your point too, we couldn't read. It was against the law for us to read. Also, not y'all, but some people out there are acting like, okay, well, I'm going to escape. I'm going to run through the alley, and then I'm going to go across the street.
Go where?
Then I'm going to go into the tunnel. And a lot of these places, we know that there was a lot of swamp land. Slaves were unprepared. They didn't have shoes. Half the time they never had clothes. They didn't have food. So we're talking about a battle of survival. In addition, you got dogs chasing you. You got slave patrols after you. So when you say, I would escape, where do you go, though?
A good example, Folsom Prison in Louisiana. They do not have the gate is open. Right. But it's bordered by swamps.
Where are you going?
Exactly. They say if you want to go out there, you go right on in. Right.
Where y'all going? Where y'all escape to? And then my daughter made a good point. I love her to death. She's very smart. She's like, okay, half the time you escape, and they like you going to this big city of refuge. Right. Hell, even in New York, they had a lot of slave codes and things like that. So where would you go?
Well, the funny thing is when you see people that do like, let's say, we're going to give update this week on the Shira Wright situation. Okay. She had her bail bonds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But in that situation, these people murdered this guy, and they stayed in the city. Right. I mean, where can you go? Where are you going? There's no way you can go.
Where are you going? And then Terry says, hi, and Donovan, hey to you. Mm-hmm. And then Charles says, I can't believe somebody said we were choosing fear, generational poverty, systematic racism. Yeah. Then there are just so many levels and change to break through. Right. Exactly. Like people are thinking, these slaves was like, well, it's time to go now. Mm-hmm. I've had enough of this ass whooping, raping, and I they sold off all my kids. Mm-hmm. My third wife, there ain't no telling when they gonna sell her or sell me.
Can I make a suggestion? It's really sad too. Remember when we were growing up when Roots came up with the phenomenon, but then they would play it over and over. And that's something you had to see. Right. Even though Roots is over 50 years old now, or 40 years, how many years it is? Well, 77, so about 40, 50 years now. I try to tell people, go back and watch that movie, not the new version, the original version. Right. And it's going to show you exactly how these people, remember that part when Kizzy was about to be born and Kutu heard the drums and he was ready to go? Right. But Kizzy wasn't born yet, but he was going to run. And he didn't run because he was worried about his child.
And that's another thing people don't talk about. Right. Okay, you're running, but what about your family? Right. You don't know if they're going to be brutalized, which they probably will be. So it's like there's many
factors.
Yeah. And Charles, to your point, yes, nobody's choosing that stuff. Mm-hmm. Those systems were put in place to keep black people where we are.
Yes, but watch Roots in 1977. Even that, it's tamed by our graphic standard. But look at the brutality that was shown.
And Roots was watered down in regards to brutality.
Right.
So, and it's so sad that a lot of people, we talk to younger people now, they haven't even seen it.
Hey, Arson, what's happening? Said, hey guys, okay, I just joined it. My comment might be out of context, but if I understand this right, you guys are talking about reading and being a free thinker. I personally believe, based on, I hate when that happens. Hold on a second. I'll press see more and it'll do some other stuff. Okay, so let's see. Oh, you went in. Okay, so based on my observations, the reading is indeed very, very important and will reinforce, and give you more insight on any given subject. However, lots of people don't know how to read but are good at observing. I'll never forget how my auntie from Florida way back in '98 when I was over there told me how she was noticing a pattern of how black people who get too powerful will have something that will happen to them. I was just a kid. I was never thinking of the system much but it took me nearly 10 years to realize just how right she was. Most she could do is sign her name, though. She was a farmer from the country and in Haiti and still hardly speaks English today. Right. And so, I mean, I don't know. It's amazing that people, they have these opinions, but what is it based off
Yeah.
of? Is your opinions based off of knowledge? Are you reading?
Mm-hmm.
Are you like somebody said, Google, YouTube, some of these very informational Facebook Lives? What are you doing to enhance that? Are you just speaking from the dome?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're a genius, but what do they say? Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
No excuse.
So if you're not reading, how are you a genius if you don't know the law?
Because they're a genius to people who don't read as well.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then, hey, Didi says, hey, y'all, he is so irrelevant. Well, yeah, some people argue that Kanye is irrelevant, but to Van Latham, the guy at TMZ's point, you know, you do have this big voice, and a lot of people listen to you. And Trump even said the other day, I don't know how true it is, thanks to Kanye, our numbers among African Americans went up from 11% to 22%.
Wait. Amarusa said that she delivered those numbers.
Well, one of them is lying, okay? But Trump is attributing Kanye's outspokenness about him and other things to more and more black people going over to the Republican side. And so I guess to that point is, he's irrelevant, but is he really? Because he's got this big voice. And to Van Latham's point, you got this voice, and what you're doing is very dangerous. It's very dangerous to people, everyday people like he likened himself, like me, who actually have to live the reality of police brutality and just a lot of things that black people who don't live in Calabasas with the Kardashians have to go through.
But again, Kanye's got to be careful too, because how many of these police officers really know who Kanye West is?
Right. I see Muhammad, somebody is trying to come in. Come in with your comment first, brother. And then Terry says truth. And Joe says Malcolm X said you cannot kill a man who doesn't fear death. All they can do is kill you. That can be a reliever. Black people want to live to enjoy the white man's goods. That's why we don't want to. Let's see. That's why we don't want to die. Well, I don't want to die because I like living. But I just think that I think there's some truth to your point. I mean, we hold on to everything that the white man has, including the gospel of the white man and everything.
We want to look like the white man, the white women, and all that other stuff. All of that stuff.
So there's some truth to it, but we got to get to the root of why we feel that way. You know, why...
Brainwashing. Propaganda.
And Donna said we got to deprogram ourselves. And I just want to say to you guys this too. Jonelle is indeed in Facebook jail.
Oh, no. Don't,
that's why
Jonelle.
You guys don't see him on here. Right. But he said he can watch, just can't comment. So I don't know if you're out there, Jonelle, but big ups, brother.
Right. If not, like I said, the podcast, you can still listen to that if you need to.
We'll put some money on your book. And Dee Dee says, but his mother, God rest her soul, was a black history professor. Like, what the F? Yeah.
But then again, I got to say, I don't care how much education you have, ignorance is bliss. Because at that age, if she wasn't comfortable with who she was,
you talking about the plastic surgery?
Yeah, to do the plastic surgery and end up checking yourself out. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do it, do it.
Right.
But as smart as she was, to leave the hospital after a procedure like that and go home and end up dying.
But then too, we gotta also entertain this point. Yeah, Donda West is what her name. She was a history professor, but was she teaching? Which history was she teaching?
Right.
Was she teaching the history that the white people gave her for the curriculum to teach, or was she teaching? And I don't think that Kanye is dumb or anything. I just think that he's just been given a pass to do and say whatever he wants.
Well, you know, whenever people say that, though, let me just say this real quick. It's like when you see the kid that dropped out of high school and became a drug dealer. The first thing whenever I run across those guys, I tell them, if that's logistics, if you know how to distribute money, if you can do that.
Very true. Do it legally.
Well, do it legally, but you can't tell me you can't go to college. You can't tell me. All you got to do is apply yourself.
The path of least resistance.
Right.
And then Ed says, Kanye lives in a bubble of his own making, surrounded by yes men. Sad part is he has a lot of influence. So absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to, because I'm in PR, so that's what I wonder. Like, is there not anybody that truly has his ear? Somebody to say, you know what, Kanye, just what exactly are you going to say? Or, okay, maybe you not want to say it that way. Maybe, to me, Where's the people that's helping him to deliver what
With
he
message,
needs?
whatever the message is.
Is it just out there willy-nilly? What's really going on? And then Secret Guard was having says Kanye ain't got the answer. Kanye West, no. Well, some people think that he does. You know, he's this smart guy, this genius. And Charles says, then we got that mother effer Ben Carson using his position as an ass kisser to the establishment, trying to raise the rent on those in poverty. Yeah, it's like, wasn't you in public housing?
Yeah, but he sees that after 50 years of throwing money away, we're not bettering our situation.
And this comes from the Negro who ordered a $31,000 dining room
No, his wife
set.
did.
Okay, but come on now.
His wife did. He didn't do it. He didn't know.
How you, and that's our money.
He didn't know.
You ordering this money.
He didn't know.
Okay, you need to get Candy in subjection, okay? Candy is ordering a $31,000 dining room table, but you telling everybody, the $31,000, that's our money. But you're talking about you raising the rent on poor people.
What?
Now, I get it.
But isn't this what I said about our show? It's about the ruling party, not Democrat.
I totally agree with you on that. Now, listen, if they want to fix, because I personally believe that the system is broken, okay? And so Jonelle said he's watching. He told me that via Instagram. Yay! I personally believe that the system is broken in regards to what Ben Carson is trying to do. But to raise the rent on people who can't afford it, okay, like if you know somebody's been on the system for 30 years, all right, that's probably an internal problem. How come y'all don't know that these people been on the system are getting housing for 30 years, or however long they getting it? I'm just throwing a number out there. And then Secret Garden says, the white man ain't got the answer. Kanye, that's what you was trying to say.
Right.
Well, yeah. And it says, T.I. said that Kanye doesn't know any of Trump's policies.
Nope.
Ye or Kanye, I didn't know about the Muslim ban or the very fine people in Charlottesville. Kanye.
Because he doesn't read.
Right, but yet we are supposed to just, Kanye is a genius. If Kanye said it, then it must be true. But this man is saying, he said that? Oh, he did? Really?
See, and then, and it's funny how we measure what a genius is. You have 4 or 5 degrees, right?
Oh, no, I don't have as much as
well,
you.
But I'm just saying, you have a couple of degrees.
I do.
Wouldn't that make you a genius?
Not necessarily.
Okay, I have a lot of degrees. Would that make me a genius?
Not necessarily.
See what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's
and having degrees just gives you technical knowledge, but
right.
what you do with the knowledge, that kind of determines whether you're a genius or not.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, yeah, so here we are. We're taking advice. So some of the people who are defending him, he was right, but this man is telling everybody, I don't Muslim ban.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
He said those people were very fine people. He did. But yeah, you defending Trump, so it's like, listen, I'll tell you guys all the time, I by far am not nowhere near being smart. I know a lot of stuff. I don't consider myself smart, but I would hope that I wouldn't be able to just get on here and tell y'all any damn thing. I would hope y'all would scratch your head and be like, like if I told y'all slavery was a choice, I would want for y'all to unfriend me and see me and shun me in the streets. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know if I want y'all to take it back, but you get the point. And Joseph, I don't think Kanye is smart at all. I think he's a clown, but he's just loose and crazy enough to haul off and say some real deep shit. Because if he doesn't think before he speaks, it's obvious. But a 4-year-old can say something real deep if you let him speak. No, I